You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream. This is AfterBuzz TV for the Sing-Off. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip about the Sing-Off. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AfterBuzz TV for the Sing-Off.
Hey everybody, good evening. It's Tamara. We are here for the Sing-Off, episode 10, season 3. I'm here with Steve Bottomley and Kimlai Yingling with Jesse Janity in the booth. The first thing that I just want to declare is that we have been drinking very special wine this week.
Oh my gosh,
me especially. But this is special because I figured this was our holiday show. Okay.
Yeah.
And
yes,
because we're getting into Thanksgiving this week.
Yeah.
And next week is the finale, which we have big news about. So I thought I would treat everyone to a Scandinavian specialty, which is my background. And so I made glug, which other people would know as mulled wine. And if you search on the net, on Google, the word Prague, Prague, and glug, which is glogg, you will come upon my blog, which is the Tamara blog. And it has my recipe for glug, which is what we're drinking tonight. It's a hot spiced mulled wine that also has rum and brandy in it. And so we've had a little glug.
It's one of the few dishes that they don't use lye in. So that's what I always go with.
Steve's also got some Norwegian in him, and so that's one of the places where we connect. Anyway, so we've had glug, and it's a thing that you clean your drains with. But if you're Norwegian, you might also cure fish with, because you never know when you might need it. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Yeah. Anyway, so we've had some glug. Jesse, what do you think of the glug? You had some, right? Did you have a little sip?
Oh, absolutely delicious.
Yay.
But be really careful. I am not driving tonight, and thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's warm. It goes like in you quicker, and you just like you just keep drinking.
Well, and it tastes like delicious punch, and it's got like I have gotten so drunk on glug before, and my sister Indy Berg.
What's in it again? Wine and brandy?
It's red wine, brandy, and rum. And then there's sugar and orange peels and cloves and cinnamon and, all kinds of deliciousness.
I feel it.
And
I know.
It's right here.
I feel like, to bring it back to the sing-off, I feel like this would be a great drink for them to drink on the sing-off because it's warm.
Right.
Open up their vocals.
Keeps your vocal cords
the spices in it. Very healthy for you.
Oh my gosh.
Don't care if the judges don't like it.
And there you go. And you won't care about any criticism.
That's why we drink every Monday.
So let's hear it for glug. Yeah.
Hey, if we go to war, let's not attack Sweden.
Oh my gosh.
So we have big things to talk about tonight. This is the last pre-taped episode of the Sing-Off. Next Monday, the 28th of November, is the finale. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But I also have a special surprise for you guys in the holidays, which we'll get to in a minute.
Okay.
But let's just talk about the opening number, which was like 100 years ago, as far as I know.
It seems like it.
So we had our 4 top groups.
Yeah.
They had a song that was, Bittersweet Symphony, Teenage Wasteland. They had that Gwen Stefani song, and then the last Friday night Katy Perry song in there. I thought it was super fun as always. Just like great performances, highlighting people, but it went by so fast because they were covering so much ground. I mean, I loved it. Do you guys have any other opinion about it?
Well, what's your note there?
White dude versus black dude. That just seemed what. That just I mean, both of those two, they both came out. And
I think it was like Michael and Scott.
The lead from the Pentatonix.
Pentatonix guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
they
those-
both have
those really are-
amazing
yeah.
voices.
And those really are the two guys that are shining at this point. I mean, Pentatonix is that guy, Dartmouth is that guy.
Yep.
And you can't really pull anybody out singularly from any of the other groups.
No,
Although
not
we did
that strong.
spot an Asian tonight.
Hey!
Finally, I think they just put him
Wow.
in there
Yeah.
because it's the
Too
second
many
to
calls.
last.
You were complaining last week. You were like, no
Seriously.
Asians. And we're watching and I went, look, Asian.
Finally found one.
I'd not seen him before.
Me neither. Just like there's one girl on here I've never seen before either.
Hey, there are 16 guys in Dartmouth Airs. So
16?
Okay,
I
yeah,
miscounted.
officially. That's the official number.
Oh,
is
then
16.
someone may be missing because there was only 15 in the booth.
Possibly.
And here's what I have on the opening, and when I watch the show, this kind of singing is insanely difficult to do. I mean, it is. If you've never done it, you have no idea how tough this is, and they make it look really easy. It's like, oh, you just sing a note. No, it's so much more than that. Okay, very few people can do that. Oh, and also, we're going to have you dance
Right.
in with everybody else and make sure you do that. There's no way I could do singing and dancing. You've seen me try.
Right.
And
He can't believe that.
oh
Let me
my
just tell you.
God. And I'm just
And
blown
manage a
away.
mic and
Yes.
be on stage and have a massive audience around you. Which
It's
just
just
completely changes
phenomenal
everything.
what these guys are doing every week, and they just keep going. Okay, now let's look at this week. So wow.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, and that's why I made you watch this show. And aren't you glad I did?
Yeah.
And I've been watching since the first season. It's incredible what they do because these people are incredible technicians, incredible artists. And then they can bring it all together into the entertainment package. There's
here's the
nothing
thing.
like
Who
it on TV.
choreographs
And
the
it's
opening
amazing.
act?
It's gotta
I would
be one of
imagine they'd actually. I don't know, but I'm sure they have a choreographer on the show.
Yeah.
I wonder why they never show any of that, like the background of getting that whole
that would be
group.
interesting.
I mean, that's crazy.
That's a film I would really like to see.
I was actually looking at the Facebook pages today for the sing off because I always do before we come in, and I do it late in the afternoon, but not before the show has aired because I don't want to know the results before I come in here. A couple of times I have when we had more groups, but there was a question posed by the Sing Off Facebook page today, and they said, are there any questions that you would like to ask any of the performers, any of the producers, anybody of anything on the Sing Off of what you would like to know? And one of the things that people kept asking was, who does the arrangements? Who does the choreography? I actually put a question up there that said, how many hours a week do you spend preparing your one or two songs for the show? All of that, but behind the scenes stuff, I think would be really interesting to show. I would be
And
amazed.
this week they
over
had
that.
3 songs because if you were in the bottom 2, you were going to have to do a sing off.
Bring it
Those were
back.
not just like, oh, what do we remember? They knew they were going to have
Of
to perform
course.
those. So, each one of them had to
Right.
at least touch base with that song again.
Yeah.
And then
My
that
question would be,
tiebreaker.
is it irritating to take time away and travel to the cool locations for the
Mm-hmm.
films when you're thinking, this travel time we could be. But here's what's amazing. These acts can show up anywhere.
Yeah.
And they are a contained
That's right.
entertainment thing where, there's the bass, there's the drums.
You need-
Right, there's no setup.
You
There's no
need
setup.
a
a microphone.
well, not even a microphone. You need a pitch pipe.
Yeah, pitch pipe.
Oh, and
That's
you know
all
what?
you need.
Whoever is the sound guy.
Right.
Because everyone's mic, I'm sure there's at different levels for the bass and different levels for the vocalist and different. I was thinking about that tonight. It's like, oh my gosh, what if he forgot to turn up
And that
the
can make
Pentatonix
can make
girl's
a difference.
mic?
I mean, so you do have to give credit to who's ever doing the sound.
Well, and
in the
I've
studio.
talked about it before. Season 1, they did not mic every single person who was on stage, and it made the TV audience, me, crazy because the balance was all out of whack and it was
Wow.
a giant mess.
Wow.
Because they would have like 30 member
Yeah.
groups on there, and
How could they
15
not-
of them would have mics. It was
What,
terrible
they
to
just
watch
had
on
like
TV.
big stage mics and hope to pick everybody
I mean,
up?
I guess I don't remember. I just remember that there were people singing when you couldn't hear them, and it was
Wow.
terrible. So,
Oh.
but I want to get right into
Sure.
the song. So we had the master mix, which was just a really neat, the mashup. I thought it was a great forum for these groups to perform in. And the first one we had was Pentatonix doing "Forget You" by CeeLo Green and "Since You've Been Gone" by Kelly Clarkson.
Is it Forget You?
Uh
Are
huh.
you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay.
I am the AM and FM radio version, not the Sirius radio version. Is "Forget You."
Oh, that's
The-
where you're going. I
The
was like,
Glee version.
The Glee version.
Okay, the chord that they used between the two singers on "Since You've Been Gone," bothered me. It was slightly discordant. Steve, can you really speak to that? Did that bug you at all?
Yeah, I didn't think it was such a good fit.
I just felt
Going from Forget You to Since You've
really-
Been Gone?
no, the actual like the two tones they used for the two lead singers on
Yeah.
Since You've Been Gone. The relationship between those two the two elements of that chord just
Yeah,
didn't
I
really
agree.
appeal to me.
There was two things that I thought about. It was she's got,
I'm like,
I
loved it.
Totally loved it.
okay.
There were two things. That was one of them. And you know, when you're doing a mashup, what you like
Yeah.
to do is find that there's a really good mashup with Let It Be and 21 Guns. That is just really awesome because they've been able to take both of those the key parts
Yeah.
and put them together.
Yeah.
On this one, it was too much of a too much of a push to get them to go together.
Okay.
And I really wasn't feeling the angst of, on the Forget You side. When CeeLo Green was doing it, it's kind of like, when you travel around, you tell this guy's in pain.
It's still a pop song though. You gotta.
I know.
Did
but,
he write it, though? I mean, it's...
CeeLo Green?
Yeah, it's different
no, I
coming
think
from a
he-
writer
yeah.
when a writer's singing his own.
No, I know, but you know what I mean? I mean, there was a certain energy where you kind of expect to hear that in that song. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that might be
But
nitpicking.
when they broke it down, when I thought it really came alive was when they broke it down and had the bass and the percussion,
Yes.
like beating against
Yes.
Avi
Oh, the
and
percussion.
Kevin.
Avi.
That was like,
Yes.
what?
Yeah.
Wasn't
yeah,
that fabulous?
Yeah.
So you loved it, Kimlai,
That,
yeah?
I loved it. I thought the Forget You seemed a little bit rush.
Okay.
I liked Since You've Been Gone. I thought the percussion battle was amazing.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even know when they went back to Forget You from Since You've Been Gone.
Yeah.
I got confused.
Yeah, so that's pretty great.
That's
if
what
it's
you're-
that
right? You're not
seamless.
supposed
Yeah,
to.
that's what you wanted
Right.
to hear. Again, and that when they do the rhythm breakdown and the Avi and Kevin thing, that is the pentatonic moment.
Yep.
where you
Yep,
go,
That's
oh,
right.
there it is. There
That's
it
the
is.
pentatonic moment.
Yeah,
that's
That's
right.
our little
Always
trademark.
had
Yep.
in some form or another. There's only been one song I've seen where they didn't have that, and I was really disappointed that they didn't. But that really was, and again, this Pentatonix really is a group that you can just go, okay, I'm in my seat.
Exactly.
I'm here for 2 hours. Just
And just
entertain
make
the
me
hell out
happy.
of me.
Yeah. Yeah. I never have to
And,
be
and, let me-
uncomfortable
and
with
I
it.
got to say, this episode was the first one where I'm just going, I've got no idea.
I know.
I've got kind of a leaning. I'm thinking it's
Yeah.
probably
They
going to go
didn't
in
stand
this
out the most?
No.
mean,
No,
he
no,
means
as
like of
far as,
all
like-
the groups. There was nobody
This
who
was one
stood
of,
out as a
and
bad.
Oh,
To be
okay,
honest,
okay.
I mean, I think I know who's going to win, but I'm not sure who's going to win.
You guys.
It's the glug.
I am dying.
dying?
It's the
here?
glug. I'm telling you,
Oh
it's the
my
glug.
gosh. No way.
It is. Next, we had Urban Method. They did Hot in Here.
Oh my gosh.
Versus Fever
Quite
by Peggy
apropos.
Lee.
So hot.
Okay, I thought it was an
Okay.
incredibly imaginative combination. Really pretty chords. And you didn't like it.
I thought, okay, I really thought, I put down that I really did like it. I
you
thought
did?
Liz did
Oh,
a
okay.
great job with Fever. I thought she had the
Yes.
perfect voice for that part.
Yes.
I thought there was a little too much rap
Oh,
for me.
okay.
I was just like, oh, he's taking over again with the
Okay.
rap. I thought it's
Mike.
just too much rap. I wanted to hear some other.
Okay.
Some other
Okay.
stuff.
We were listening, and I was kind of, there were times when I was slightly distracted because, like I said, there's a lot of ground to cover tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And then that saxophone sound came in, and I turned to you, Steve, and I
Oh,
went, "What
yeah,
is
that
that? That was
Somebody-
amazing."
Somebody finally took a page out of probably like Pentatonic and said,
Right.
"We better do something different here." There was another group that is gone now, but they were kind of dancing around that idea as well.
Yeah.
And at this point, you better have those tricks
Mm-hmm.
because that's what's going to keep you up there.
Right, and
But I think honestly, Urban Method is kind of on the skin of their teeth on these songs, and they're good and they're really tight. But I always go back to I'm in the seat. I paid my
Right.
$60 or whatever.
Right.
Which man is going to entertain me in every song?
right,
Urban Method isn't going to do it for
right.
me.
They're slightly inconsistent at times. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
There's
Okay.
only two that would do that for me.
Okay.
Who?
Oh, well,
little
Pentatonic
Pentatonic
and Dartmouth.
and Dartmouth Airs.
Okay.
So next we had Afro Blue, and I don't know if I was so distracted by the glug, or I was I don't know. I was unimpressed, but I actually didn't even write their name on my notes.
Oh my
And
gosh.
They
songs are
bled
good?
into Urban Method's notes, except then I wrote really pretty chords. I believe I can fly. The rap opening on the second song, that was a weird, and I was all of a sudden going, oh my God, I'm writing about Afro Blue. What the heck? I thought the rap opening on the second song, and their songs were I Believe I Can Fly and Fly by Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
I thought the rap on the second song was just like a weird combination. So talk about that. What did you think?
I thought the rap was great. I didn't think it was great in the song. And then I wondered why they hadn't used her before.
Right.
It's like, why now?
Right. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was a good pimping on the film.
Of the film, I Believe I Can Fly.
Yeah,
What
the
was the
girl
name of that
saying
movie?
Pimping.
Well, the girl is saying, I can't rap. I can't rap. I can't do this.
Oh, the package that before.
package,
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
And,
got
and
it.
as soon as she said that, I go, oh, well.
Well, she's going to kill it on the
She's
rap.
gonna
Yeah.
slay
Yeah.
on the rap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was gospel. The rhythm section was really good. It was nice and floaty. But my thing is like if I know both the songs and I can follow both the songs, I know I Believe I Can Fly. I didn't know Fly.
Thank you, Jesse.
I didn't know either.
He just turned the air on.
Thank
It's
you,
not
Jesse.
just me, right?
It's not just
This
you.
is the first. I am.
No, it's
No,
not
no.
just you. It's you
I'm
and the
looking at your
glug.
forehead. I'm sitting looking and feeling mine. Like, oh my god.
Moving on to next, we had Dartmouth
Yes.
Airs doing "Born This Way" by Lady Gaga and "Sympathy for the Devil," Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Wow.
Boy, were we on not the same page as the judges on this one.
I was on their page.
I loved
Right.
that one.
I loved it too.
really
I
did
loved
like
it.
I like how I don't know his name, but the guy that was doing
Brendan, who
Brendan?
did Mick Jagger, rather. Yeah.
I just
Wow,
said, wow,
he
if I had to
was
choose a guy that
scary
did the
looking.
devil. Yeah, exactly. And I'm
See,
like
I
going,
didn't get that until you guys explained that to me because I was like, oh, he's so hard to watch. He
yeah,
is so
because
hard
he's
to
playing
watch.
a character.
because here's the thing. You were going to get Broadway every single time with the Dartmouth Airs.
Right.
But I
Right.
keep looking at them and I'm going, yeah, but they're college kids.
Right.
This is a transitory thing. And the only way that you're going to keep everyone together is say, okay, here's your Broadway tour. Here's the show we're going to do for the next 5 years. But
didn't
while
you
they're
love-
together and watching them, I am never disappointed watching these guys.
didn't you love the concept that they had of the devil and the
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean and
Yes.
even their costumes reflected that. I thought it was fantastic. And we finished and I was just like, the thing that was interesting to me is that I love Dartmouth Airs. I love that wall of sound that they create. They always are entertaining. And I thought, okay, this is going to be really entertaining. And then it kind of went to like this deeper thing. And then it went a little further. And by the end of it, I was like, oh my gosh, that was fantastic.
I just got a little lecture in spirituality in that
Yeah,
show.
I loved it.
I
And
did
the
too.
judges didn't like it. I was so surprised by that.
Yeah, we were like looking at each other going, what?
What?
Show? Except for Kimlai, I was like going, yeah, no
I
kidding.
was confused through the whole thing. I mean, I even asked you. I was like, did they
Just
even
because you
sing
kind of didn't get the
Sympathy?
concept and you
Yes.
didn't get the songs. Okay.
Yep. And
Okay.
but the musical breaks were good.
Okay. All right.
This was one of them where they actually were able to move between the two songs really seamlessly. I mean,
Very
they
well.
Obviously.
found-
Yes.
they-
To the point where you
I
didn't
had
even
no
know
idea
there
they
were
were even
two
singing another song. That's why I didn't
That's
get
how
the
good it
devil
was.
thing.
Yeah.
I thought Born This Way
Yeah.
they were doing the entire time.
Yeah.
See, back in the 60s, there was a band called
the Rolling Stones.
And they had a few, we'll call them pop hits.
No, but I thought it was
now that I
fantastic.
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
Thank you, Jesse.
Now that I get it, I get that he was in red, he was the devil, he was in
black.
black.
Black and
And he was
red.
born that way.
Black and white and red. And
I thought he was in white. Black
don't
and
know.
white.
They did do a couple of Michael Jackson
maybe he
moves
was
from,
in-
Yeah.
from where he was, like, with gang bangers
Right.
and stuff.
right.
And I thought that was kind of cool. But you know what? That was one where I just went, you're putting them on the bubble over that? I didn't get it.
I
but
didn't get
all
it
three of
either.
the judges heard stuff or saw stuff that they didn't like. But you know
Well-
what? Even in their notes, they were a little vague.
They were.
You're like, it wasn't the best. I'm like, well, why? How come? How come that wasn't the best?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen a lot worse performances from them. So if you're just going to vaguely say, well, I had a bad burrito for lunch and I don't like it, come on.
Oh my goodness.
So
Yeah, I thought it was really kind of spectacular. I really did. I thought it was really, really good.
I would have put it up in the top 3 easily.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's why I was so surprised. I mean, I
Top
just sat
three.
back.
There's
going,
only.
Four.
no, in their performances.
Oh,
Their
okay.
performances, yeah. No, I thought it was fantastic.
I thought so.
So before we go to the judge's choice, I sent a sound file over to Jesse this morning, and I wanted him to play a little. This is a 5-minute piece, so we're not going to listen to all of it, but we will listen to a little bit of it.
Okay.
If you're ready, Jesse. Go ahead.
Ding dong ding, ring the Christmas bells. Ding dong ding, so that all the world can tell. It's the most wonderful time of the do with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. Be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, this is me.
All of the voices are heard.
But there's
What?
We'll move, this is a medley, so actually we'll scoot
Oh
into the
my
next
gosh.
song. This is one of my favorite songs ever. That was me. That was my lead right there.
What was this from?
This is my a cappella group.
Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la, fa la la la.
Very festive.
Train the barrel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Christmas carol, fa la 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 la, fa la la, fa la 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 la.
Anyway, that's Eclectica.
I'm just curious.
When
When you
was
sing along in the car, do you
this?
sing someone else's part, or do you just only sing your part?
I only sing my part. It's the only
When
part I
was
know.
this?
This is my a cappella group, 4 voices, Eclectica. I actually talked about them on the first and second episodes, but I think only Jesse was here for that. I am the alto from
There's only
Eclectica.
4 voices?
Me, Paul, John Schroeder, and Nancy Everts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was my group. That was our little Christmas demo that we recorded, and so we were almost all a cappella. Did a lot of the like close harmonies, that really tight stuff that's incredibly hard to learn. And when you're the alto, you have the ugliest part in the world to sing. You never get to sing the melody.
Oh, that's right.
And
You're always off on the-
yeah, and it's incredibly in the close harmonies. It's like not the natural
Yeah.
place where you want to go. It's that like weird place in the middle. And so there was a little Eclectica for you people.
Yay.
Yay!
I actually was
Happy
able to see them
holidays.
perform a couple of times, and it was always like the room got really quiet, and everybody was like, "Oh, Eclectica, shut up."
Wait, are you still performing? Are you still...
No, because our bass and our soprano moved to Boston.
Oh.
Rat bastards.
They perform on Skype now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
And
gosh.
the delay,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
just a
We
train
Skype
wreck.
our
Where it's
performances,
going.
and it's really hard. Yeah,
You know if they watch this though?
I don't. I'll tell them to. Hi, Paul. Hi, Nancy. Hi, John.
Hey,
How's
Paul,
it going?
Nancy, or John, you can call in and talk to us at 424-256.
1729.
And talk about Eclectica.
Yeah. It was some of the most fun I've ever had. I created the group because
Okay.
I basically went, you know what? I want to sing, and I think you're really talented. I think you're really talented. I think you're really talented. Come on, let's be a group. And we were together for about 3 years, and just created some beautiful music, and it was some of the happiest time that I ever.
You guys
have
did
ever
the
had.
Hallelujah chorus, too.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
4 voices.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was so much
No,
fun.
it was
we
really
had a great
cool.
time with that.
I mean, when you guys would start doing that, everyone's like going, what? And then by the end, they're going, holy Christ, you guys did the Hallelujah chorus with 4 voices.
I have a really quick, funny story.
Wow.
I had cats when we first were together, when Eclectica were together, and we would come over to my place to record, and a lot of times it was in the summer. We'd have all the windows open, and one time after we recorded, the next day somebody called and said, "What was going on at your place last night?" And I said, "Well, there was a rehearsal going on," and they went, "I heard angels singing."
Oh my God.
So that was really cute. And then the other thing
Like,
was
that was me.
That was me. And then the other thing was my cats absolutely hated me singing. And oftentimes I would sit on the floor while I was singing because that was just the most comfortable place for me to sit. And I would get there and I'd sit on the floor and I'd sing, and my kitty would come up to me like this. And then I'd start singing, and I would just keep singing because she's doing whatever she's doing. Pretty soon she'd start going like this. and she would bat at my face to make me stop singing because I think she thought I was crying or making some ridiculous.
Oh, did you sing louder?
Yeah, I did. And then I went like that, and then she ran away. No.
It's a cat's way of saying you suck.
I hate you.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, moving on to enough about me.
Got dissed by your cat. That's great.
Judge's Choice songs. So we had Pentatonix start with Dog Days Are Over by Florence and the Machine. Okay, I thought that the chords were beautiful. I thought it was complex and pretty and really entertaining. I'm not that familiar with that song. I've heard it a few times, but I'm like,
Yeah, I've heard it a few times too. It gets played on like K Rock and actually Florence and the Machine are going to be doing K Rock's acoustic Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But I've heard it, and I thought this version was a lot more accessible.
Yes.
Because
right.
Yeah,
Florence
because
and the
she
Machine
when
is like
she's
all
yeah
over.
she's
It's just huge and big, and it's like, okay, you're gonna scream now.
Right.
And big surprise, Mitch with the
Oh, that was
the
crazy.
tenor,
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps
He
from that.
got a real pretty voice.
He's real pretty. He's got a beautiful
Yeah,
voice.
and not only I was like, okay, something's gonna happen. Your voice is gonna crack. You're gonna like, where have you been?
Right,
is the
exactly.
first-
Where have you been?
This big,
episode
weird
10,
song.
for God's
Right,
sake.
right.
And now you come out and say, oh, by the way, look what I can do. And again, you got to go a pentatonic moment where they go, oh,
Right.
here's a surprise.
Right. Well, it's, consistently bringing out their secret weapons.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this is what
Yeah.
he was, I think.
So,
And you and I were
Bam.
both just like swearing and flipping off the camera or the thing when they said three of these
three of them are
members
19.
are 19 years old.
ugh,
No,
That's
okay,
just
so I didn't
unfair.
get the point of I didn't get the big deal of why she brought that up.
Just that they're 19 years old and are like at this massive beginning of their careers. So 19 years old, on the sing-off on national TV, doing amazing things, and they're only 19.
Okay,
You
so
know,
it's
Steve and
that
I are
they were-
hoping that will happen to us in our early 30s.
yeah. I'm looking at hoping it happens in my 70s. No, yeah, you're just like going, no, I mean, it was in good nature,
Right, it just-
God bless them,
yeah.
and they deserve it and everything.
A little bit of jealousy and
I
a little
wasn't
bit
sure
of
where
like,
that
that's
was.
so awesome that at
Yeah.
19,
At 19,
this
three of
is
them.
where they are. Can you imagine what their life's going to be in 10 or 15 or 20 years? It's going
And
to
that's
be
really
right.
the thing. I really just hope that each and every one of those people out there appreciate what they have done to be able to go through this competition.
Have you ever
and-
seen Behind the Music?
I know.
They're all headed for a
I
terrible
know,
drug
you know,
overdose.
or end up in Dr. Drew.
I don't know if that'll
I'm not-
happen on.
And he's not doing
acapella group.
celebrity.
No, he's
rehab
not doing,
anymore.
but he is doing Life Changers. So
Is
Yes.
that because
He can maybe change
all
their
the
lives.
celebrities got cleaned up and there's no
yes,
more
there aren't any
celebrity issues?
left.
Oh,
There
good.
aren't any left.
He did such
they
an amazing
counselors
He
job.
on
did.
Life
He's
Changers?
incredible. So next we had Urban Method doing what did they do? All the Lights. Kanye West. Steve and I were like, I don't know this song. I don't get this song.
Did you know this song?
I did not know the song.
Yeah, this is where we need Ronnie.
We did.
But-
Damn it.
Ronnie,
We
call
need
in.
you.
Talk about this song.
I felt like they were shouting a lot.
Here, listen. My note is maybe I just don't like Kanye West because
There are a couple of Kanye songs I like, though.
I was just like going, okay, all right. And then this happened.
But you guys like the
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
You know, and
I
that this
put
was
the
also
wo-
the
I
same
might-
band.
the woof
This was the
woof
same
thing.
band that came up with
Whoop, whoop.
the saxophone.
and
Yes,
and
that's
they had,
right. That's
So-
right.
Did
That's
they had a
2 for
trumpet in
2.
this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
little trumpet thing.
Yeah.
So
That was pretty cool.
I got nothing on this. It
I
was-
just didn't like the song very much, and I felt like they were shouting and pushing, and there wasn't really that much more to say about it.
If this was a concert, this would have been the song where I would have gone
Gone
the
to get a
bathroom.
beer.
Yeah. Just like, you know,
Nice.
go check to see if
Some
the
more
car,
mulled
if
wine,
I left the lights
mulled,
on in the car or
Mulled,
something.
mulled,
Gluck?
call it
More
glug,
gluck.
glog,
Glog.
glug.
More
Oh my
gluck.
gosh. Okay.
You're so not Scandinavian.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, then we had Afro Blue doing Change is Gonna Come, Sam Cooke, which I thought was the perfect song for them. It was
Yes.
so suited to their style. Great opening, super stylish, beautiful chords, complex. I really loved this. I thought it was so perfect for them.
I thought they connected. You know,
Yeah.
it's one thing when you're like a trained musician. It's like sometimes they say you're so trained that you can't really show emotion.
Right.
And people that aren't trained can show emotion.
Right.
But
because
but
it's
have no
that raw-
technique.
Yes, like musicians that read ones that don't read.
Right. Right.
And I thought this song in particular was they showed how they were trained, but they were also very emotional. They were so connected to this song, and it's like both of those worlds, like that.
You know, this was, I think it might have been last season, I'm not sure. But it seemed to me like in the past, the judge's choice was more of a challenge, whereas this time, the judge's choice was more a compliment. It's like, let me give you something that's going to be perfect for you.
'Cause they all
and
did it.
this song was a great example of, here's the perfect song, the perfect genre, everything's set up for you. Here it is on a silver platter. Do something beautiful with it. And they did.
I would definitely agree with that on Afro Blue and this one. This did really seem like, okay, we are going to throw you such a bone here and knock yourself out.
Yeah.
And the one of the judges mentioned it too, that the sound didn't sound like a lot of different voices. It really did sound like just a smooth chord.
Yeah.
And it was such a nightclub, relaxed.
Yeah.
You know, that was really something where you could have just like, you sat in a big leather lounge chair, sipping a drink and just like, oh, okay, just do this.
The word that I closed my notes with on them was magnificent.
Yeah.
I just thought it was just magnificent.
And I was
for
so
them.
glad
They were
that they were able
adorable.
to
Just
reach back and
adorable.
grab that. And because since the first time I heard them in the competition, I've always thought, if you just hold on to that unique thing, and somebody said, you know, I think it was Sean, he said, not everything needs a jazz note. And I'm like thinking, well, actually, for Afro Blue,
They
it kind
kinda
of does,
do.
because that's who they
That's
are.
their
It's-
background.
It's, you know,
Yep.
it's like not every U2 song needs Bono. Yeah, it
Sorta
kind of
does.
does. You know, I've
Sorta
heard
does.
the Edge sing.
kinda
No,
does.
you kind of do.
Yeah.
But you know, I really thought after they did that song, based on what they had said about "Born This Way" and "Symphony for the Devil,"
Sympathy.
I thought, oh, dang. Well, I know who's going home,
Right. And then you didn't.
and then I didn't.
And then Dartmouth Airs came up, and I had the song list before, and you said, what's it going to be? It's going to be, and I said, Shout. And you went, what? And I went, uh-huh. So
It's like the perfect
yeah,
song
it was
for
the
them.
perfect song for them, right? It was a party
You know what?
and music.
I thought
form.
it was a really odd choice, and you know, you're talking about because first of all, kind of what do you do with it? You
They
know?
did it. What do you mean?
Well, what do you do with it and make it kind of like different and exciting? What they did with it, I've already seen.
Yeah, I didn't think
in
anything
Animal
musically
House.
there was
I've
anything
seen it
different.
every time somebody plays it at a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen, you know, but it was the Dartmouth Airs doing it. That's cool, but it
You know
wasn't
what?
like
they
a
could
holy.
have changed it up a bit though. I mean, they could have. They could have
But
changed it. They could have taken some
why?
instruments out. They could have done some musical
Why?
breaks, made it more impactful, to make it their own.
I thought it was giant fun, and I turned to Steve and I said about Michael, so much for your engineering career because
Yeah.
you're clearly going to be a singer and an entertainer.
Yeah.
I don't
Whatever
know.
you
It's
had
becoming the
planned.
Michael
Whatever,
show.
yeah.
That group.
I mean, I thought it was great,
and that really has got to be an issue because now all the notes are going to Michael, except for the one guy that had to step out of it because he couldn't do it on the
he gave
first
the
showing.
lead, yeah,
That was on the first.
But he wasn't
showing.
reaching it. I mean,
right.
Right, and everybody
could
said,
see
"Hey,
him
you
in the
know,
background.
So we've all been there."
Yeah, I
and
can't
he's
remember what
like,
his name
yeah,
is.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
but it really is like Michael and the guys at this point.
But I mean, yes, he stands out, but it's not like his voice is the only one standing out. They're absolutely a unified wall of
Right.
sound,
Absolutely.
and I think they absolutely deserve to be in the finale.
Oh, absolutely, I do
So,
too.
so we.
I just
we-
thought it was an odd choice because they could have thrown them something that was
More-
bigger that they could have played
more
with a lot
difficult,
more.
maybe.
That was well. For instance, you said they're going to their strengths, and I said, "Oh, they're going to give him the complete, you know, Jesus Christ Superstar."
Right.
But any of those songs, they could have, you know, shredded in a bigger way. I agree. They did a great job on this.
Right.
But
They're
as far as like
entertainers.
taking it
I mean-
somewhere where I went, "Oh, that's cool," you know, except for. Oh no, there was their sing off. So
Yeah. So let's just get to the sing off. So we had.
Oh, by the way, real quick,
Yeah. Yeah.
a couple of things that we learned. Not only is Urkel in there, there's
Right.
also a very young Matt Damon.
Yes, you're
if
right.
you look,
what? What?
Yeah, there's a really
that
really
the
young.
one
Really young
that
Matt
was-
Damon.
He's
in-
way on the
in
left
Dartmouth Airs.
side, and it's like, oh look, Matt Damon. So I mean, that's what we do now. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. So then we had so Dartmouth Airs and Afro Blue, which we kind of predicted were going to be in the
Yes.
bottom two.
Yes.
And so they did their two sort of iconic songs. Afro Blue did, I can't even remember
American
the song.
Boy.
American Boy, that's right, which was amazing.
Right.
And they were just that song that they did, they made up for all their shortcomings, I felt
Right,
like,
and
in this.
and the key to this was they said you go back and perform the song that you think had the biggest impact on
Right.
and the judges already copped
was-
to the fact that American Boy
Yes.
they
Was their
thought there
favorite.
was the
Yeah.
biggest- So as soon as they did that,
I
we went,
thought that
well, we
would've
know where their Dartmouth Air is going to go.
And then, of course, Dartmouth Airs did Queen, right? And so Michael opens up
But
and
the
does
second half where they did Somebody to Love.
what?
And
what?
he's back singing that note.
Oh yeah.
holding
What was
that
the
note.
what was the guy in the back? The white guy. He was like,
well, what the deal
"Do I get
was
up?
is that
Do I
Michael was holding the note. He's like,
Yeah, and
He-
then
holding
there's a
it
small pause.
and holding it, and holding it, and he's figuring he's gonna, and the guy right behind him is ready to go up and sing his, and Michael's still holding that note, and still holding that note, and the guy's like, okay, now, no,
Nope.
still holding the note, still holding the note, because
He's kind of like laughing and
right,
looking
here's
around.
the
Like,
thing.
was a good
Because
sport.
the
That was funny.
opening note
I think so.
of that piece was Michael, kind of a little weak, kind of a little breathy, off his game. And then he brought that note and
was-
that
he
second
was-
note, and just, we were like, oh my God, are you kidding? Forget it.
Yeah, when that happened, we looked at each other and it was like, "Are you kidding?" That's like getting the snap on the, and you just it's
Yeah.
an easy field goal,
Yep.
and you fluff the snap or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, well, maybe he was trying to do a really cool bend up, but if he was doing that, he's still muffed.
He
it 'cause it
failed.
was not. Yeah, and we're like, "Well, that was just you and your voice. That was the
yeah,
only
but
thing
he
there."
made up for it.
Well, he did with that, like, the sustaining
At the
note. He's
end.
like, "And I can do this," and then at the very
And
end,
his very
Yeah.
last
Yes.
note, I was shouting actually at the screen. I hope I didn't annoy you too much. I was like, please make the note, please make that note. And he did, and he brought it home, and it was perfect. It was perfect.
I thought that who went home? Afro Blue.
Afro Blue.
Afro Blue
Oh, I
went
guess we all
home.
thought, yeah. But then I changed my mind. I thought Dartmouth was going to go home, and I thought Afro Blue saved it with the American Boy.
They did an amazing job
But-
of it. I think that they were looking at the entire season,
Yeah.
basically, and just kind of brought it around to.
Well, that's what Ben said was.
So right, Sarah said these are the people I've always connected to emotionally. Dartmouth Airs. Sean
And been the most
said
consistent.
Afro Blue is my band, and then Ben said Dartmouth Airs.
Yeah, throughout this process, he's always been able to connect with them. So.
I was so conflicted when it got to that point, and I knew I was going to be from this point on.
I
and
absolutely thought Dartmouth Airs were going to go home.
you did.
Yeah.
You did. Wow.
Based on-
I did
based
too,
on-
after talking to you.
No, well, yeah, well, there you go. Based on the notes that they got on their sympathy for the devil
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
and
right,
Based based on Michael missing that opening.
Oh, yeah.
And then if that didn't work, if that sustaining note didn't work, that would have been just like embarrassing.
But see, that's the great thing about live performance is that you can, you don't have a band or a
Right.
track behind you. You have guys who are going to adjust, and you can do some kind of showy crap like that and go, you know what? I think you need to forgive what happened 30 seconds ago, because here's me right now bringing it all.
But do
You
you,
know
think
who
that
saved
had
that?
really anything to do?
well, I
Or
think
was
who
that just to
saved
give
it.
the judges a little bit more time and to fill in that 15 minutes?
As far as who they decided already, no, I think they already knew.
I do too.
I
I don't
think
think
they-
that
Do you?
did.
Do you?
I think so. I think they already knew who.
What
was
were you
gonna
just
go.
gonna say?
Who made that bit work when he was sustaining that? No, it wasn't Michael. It was the bass player trying to get in
Behind
trying
him.
to
That
get-
was
it
so
like-
funny.
It was
That
the
was-
genius
it
of
was
being
hysterical.
the straight man of him.
You'll be
trying to-
watching this later, yeah.
Oh, John has joined us. In
John
the
has
studio.
joined us. Hi, John. Welcome to the studio. So then, Afro Blue do their swan song, which was "We've Only Just Begun," which was
Yeah.
such a beautiful
was good.
choice for them.
It
There's
really
a girl
is.
in there that I have not seen.
All of a sudden, she showed up.
But look at that, the Asian in Dartmouth, right? He's in Dartmouth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course they didn't get voted off.
Yes.
So yeah, throughout the show. I just kept thinking I've got no idea who's going home, and obviously I was wrong.
It's a
And
killer.
This was really one of the toughest shows because I didn't want anyone to go home.
I know.
And now that there's 3, I'm like going, okay, well, I'm not too connected to that one, and they're great. And I think it's going to be that one. But this was a really, really tough one.
I want to go to commercial now, and then we're going to come back with some very, very big news that we have. And I'm going to fill my glug glass one more time. So go to commercial.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
No, thank
Nice.
you, Rich.
Oh my God.
Nice, Rich.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
Okay, that was quite a commercial. Thank you,
was.
Rich. I loved that. So we have some massive, huge news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, the sing-off finale is 1 week from tonight, November 28th. And we're going to be there. AfterBuzz is going to be at the
Get
live finale!
out. Get out.
Seriously.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
so excited.
Oh, my
I'm so excited.
God.
We're going to get to see the live taping, and we're going to get to go to the red carpet.
Cool.
And so one of the things that I want to shout out to everybody, you on your Twitter, especially Steve,
Yes.
on your Twitter accounts, we want to know if fans have any questions that they want to
Yes.
ask of the judges or the winners, and we're going to talk about who we think the winners will be of the show, because we're going to get to be on the red carpet. And here's what it's going to be like next week. So this is an exclusive.
This is exciting.
News and an exclusive simultaneously. Here's the rundown of what's going to happen on next week's show. All of the 10 top groups are going to return to the stage and do special performances. So,
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
so starting with, we're going to have, of course, Dartmouth Airs, Pentatonix, Urban Method, Afro Blue, Vocal Point, Delilah, the Yellow Jackets, the Collective, the Deltones, and North Shore are all going to be on
wow.
stage next Monday night. So the top 3 groups are going to perform, plus all the girls from the top 10 groups will be performing, and then all the guys from the top, did I just say 3? I meant 10. All 10
man, that's
top girls and all 10 top guys. So it's going to be this massive conglomeration of new groups. Then we're going to see performances by, hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, Nick Lachey will be performing.
That is
Really?
worth the admission.
And Ben Fold, Sean
Okay.
Stockman, and Sarah Bareilles are all going to perform next Monday night.
Great. Is Nick Lachey really performing?
Yeah, he really is. No, he really is. And then there
So
are
is
also
Eric, the sound guy.
there will also be special guest performances, which I am going to predict that possibly last year's performers or last year's winners will perform. So that would be, I just totally forgot their name, Committed. Who are completely breathtaking. They're so amazing. And that's it. So we're going to be there. We're going to
I'm
be
excited.
there live. You just heard it for real tonight,
Yes,
right? I
yes.
was actually trying to tell you on the air, but I couldn't hold it up anymore. There were only so many surprises I could wait for live on the air to talk about. But
If
so
you
we're going to be there.
If you do have a question,
Yeah.
please send it over to, either to Twitter at AfterBuzz TV or on the Facebook page at
Yeah,
AfterBuzz.
definitely.
Get it over
Post it.
to us so that we, if whoever you want to talk about or whatever is in front, and we have a moment. We just as soon use your questions. We have ours,
Yeah.
but we want your questions because this is all about you and your fan and that sort of thing. So we're serious.
Yeah, absolutely. Please let us know any questions that you have. And, I put on the Facebook page for the Sing Off today, how many hours a week does it take? Is there any kind of, not so much competition, but like, are the groups staying in the same place?
Yeah, is there
do they have to
camaraderie
compete
between
for
the two?
studio time, or
Yeah.
do they get to ever sing together? And from what I've read, a lot of the groups really enjoy the camaraderie that they have. It's not a cutthroat competition as
Doesn't
much as
seem that way.
as much
No,
as
it
it's
doesn't
important
at
for
all.
everybody to win. I think the kind of people who sing a cappella are more interested in being in groups than in one standing out
Right,
and
right.
being a
Except
soloist.
Michael.
Except for Michael. No, because Michael's a superstar. He doesn't need to promote himself. But so if you have questions, let us know, because we are going to be at the live finale of the Sing Off. I'm so
Crazy.
excited. I'm the most excited of everyone here. They're all like, yeah, that's really cool. And they have no
Well,
idea
no,
how
we don't
It's
know.
gonna be cool. It'll
Ronnie
be cool.
may be jumping around. He's not here tonight.
He is jumping around. I'm telling you, he is, because he and I are the most excited of the Sing Off fans.
It'll be
so,
fun.
It will be fun.
So
I'm
that's our
looking
big
forward to it
news.
as well.
So let's go into our predictions next, because we've just got a few minutes
You know
left.
what? First of all, the voting.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
Prediction.
Mm-hmm.
The voting ends Sunday.
Right, it starts
So
tonight,
it
opens
starts
Sunday at
tonight and
6
ends
a.m.
Saturday. So
Pacific time.
It can go in any direction. But
Yeah.
I'm calling it tonight, and I'm saying Pentatonix is walking away.
I
with
said it
the-
last week with Pentatonix, and I
Yeah.
agree with you.
If you take in everything again, if you think of just sitting in a seat and you've paid big money, that's the
Mm-hmm. Who do you
only
wanna
group
see?
that I could say every single one of them, including when they did the rhythm section breakdown. I'm like going.
So
But
They've
you
shown-
guys,
they've
the
shown-
Dartmouth Airs.
Yep.
We were talking about this
I think
a
the
little
Dartmouth
bit.
Air should
There's
open for
such an-
Pentatonix.
Oh my gosh.
I think the Dartmouth
Oh
Air
my
should
gosh.
get.
I paid big money to see that show.
I think they should be incorporated into a musical because that's their strength is musical theater.
Yeah.
And give them a set and give them give
I think
them a
you should work on
storyline.
writing that.
I
I'll help.
don't know.
Oh yeah, you're the writer.
I'll help. We've
think
written
Pentatonix-
lyrics together before.
Maybe we can write a story about like an arranged marriage.
Yes.
Oh my God, you guys. Okay, back to
Okay,
this.
yes,
I
Kimlai.
think Pentatonix.
Yeah.
Pentatonix.
Pentatonix. I think they are going to win, only because I think each of them individually, they're so fantastic. But I think entertainment-wise, Dartmouth Airs, I'm not even counting Urban Method, Dartmouth Airs are so entertaining that I think the general population
Might
will
go
for
with
what's
Dartmouth
more
Airs.
So you've been saying
entertaining.
this too. You've been saying
I
that it's
know.
a split decision based on sheer entertainment value
Mm-hmm.
or technical quality.
And artistry.
And
ar-
artistry.
Yes, and artistry.
Mm-hmm.
I think
That's
they're
a valid-
artists
that's
too.
a really valid
I think Dartmouth
point.
Airs are
Here's-
artists as well, but they're
So you're thinking of
entertainers.
the
They
Michael
absolutely
Swingle.
are. Here's the only other thing that
entertainers.
I'm going to say. I have been reading the Facebook pages, and probably 5 to 1 Pentatonix gets comments on the Facebook pages. So, those are the kind of people who will vote.
Yeah.
So
I want
that's-
Pentatonix to win. I would go watch them.
Well, okay.
They're-
You're going to go watch
Actually,
them next
I was
month.
gonna say, you are going to go watch.
I
them.
know. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
I am too.
It's going to be fun.
It's very.
It's going to be
very,
so
very
fun. And you
cool.
all can thank me because I was the one who got the big idea for it. Actually, it came out of a conversation
Thank
between
you,
and I
Tammy.
we had on the air
I think
where
so.
you said, wouldn't it be amazing to see these guys live?
Yeah,
And I said,
did.
well, heck,
Yeah,
we're
how
pressed.
do we do that?
Let's figure that
You made it happen. It's awesome.
So it was definitely a team effort, but we're
Who pulled this off here?
what do you mean?
I forget the gentleman's name that actually made
Ian,
Ian.
Phil, me.
Ian and Phil.
Ian
all
and
of-
Ian and I wrote everything,
Okay.
and he found the addresses and the people to talk to, and he's arranged everything for us, and he's our
Okay.
media contact.
So
and all
I
that
just
kind
want to
of
make
stuff.
sure we give props
Yeah,
to everybody
Ian.
that was involved.
Ian, his awesomeness. So that's pretty much it. Next week, we will know the winners of the
Yes.
Sing Off after having seen them live, posing your questions that you send to us via Twitter, via Facebook, via our email address. Get in contact with us because we would love to bring out anything that you guys want to know.
get ready for the withdrawals because next week it's over, which means you're going to be like, slapping your arm, wondering where to get some good acapella.
What's your Twitter handle?
At Kimlai Yingling.
Visit my website, tamaracentral.com, and
check
wave at Steve.
Check me out at Home Depot.
There's nothing here. There's nothing
We will
here.
see you next week for the live finale of the Sing Off. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
ya
you later! Woo!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.